You are tuned in to Kids
In the Pit.
Hey guys, it's Gabe from the Kids in the Pit podcast. Today I'm being joined by Gary Bennett from Kill Your Idols. Thanks for joining me.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So I already said this first. Thank you so much for joining me. This is awesome. My parents said you were recovering from surgery. What kind of surgery did you have done?
I had bariatric surgery, which is like a weight loss surgery. The the um the proper term for it, I don't know what it stands for, but it's SADI. They call it a SADI, where basically they remove like 3/4 of my stomach and leave me with a really small stomach pouch, but they also bypass intestines. It's a newer surgery that's come up in the last 10 to 15 years, I guess. It's like, they have like a couple of different surgeries, but that's one of the newer ones. And specifically, it was selected for me because I'm in my 50s now, and my my BMI was pretty high, and I was, way over 100 pounds overweight. Like I think my top weight was like 314 pounds this past year. And since I got the surgery, I'm down to 263 pounds already.
Wow,
And
that's great.
yeah, and it's been very helpful. And I feel so much better. My blood pressure was high, and now my blood pressure is not high anymore. My blood pressure is in very, very normal readings. And I had to take blood pressure medication for the past 2 years, and now I have to see my cardiologist soon, but I might be able to stop taking my blood pressure medication. So that's a positive thing. My knees no longer hurt like they used to. Just a number of things are becoming easier to me each day that I notice. I rode my mountain bike for the first time in 4 years yesterday. I'm getting exercise, and I don't know. I seem to lose like a pound every 2 days. So it's definitely hard. It's I have to exercise. I have to move around. I have to make sure that I continue on the diet that they've put forth for me. But none of that really matters because my life is changing so much for the better because of this surgery. So I recommend it for anybody that's having trouble losing weight, especially somebody that's older than 40, because when you get into your 40s and 50s, that's when it really becomes difficult to lose weight. And I've struggled with it for many, many years, but it was never really that big of a problem for me until I got into my late 40s and I started to have health problems. But now all my health problems seem to be reversing. So um, I'm really, really excited about it, and I'm excited to talk about it and share it with anybody that has any questions. Anybody out there that has any questions, just hit me up on like Instagram message on the band page or my personal page, and I'll be glad to answer any questions. And I have my wife Mary to thank for pushing me in this direction, but especially I have my singer Andy of Kill Your Idols to thank for pushing me in this direction. For years, he suggested that I get this surgery because he got it, and he lost like way over 200 pounds. He was like 410 or 420 at his top weight, and now he's in the 200s. So his life is much better for it also. So that's about all I have to say about that.
That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So what do you do in Kill Your Idols?
I play lead guitar. I do a little bit of backup vocals reluctantly. I never wanted to do any vocals, but it seems like they forced me to. So I have to do backup vocals. I've gotten better at it over the years. When I was in Black Anvil, I actually had to do a few backup vocal and main vocal parts in Black Anvil, and I actually was able to do it pretty well. So it's just something I got better at, and I didn't, think I was that good of a vocalist. But Andy's the main vocalist, and the fortunate thing is when we play shows, kids usually grab the mic and sing the lyrics anyway, so I don't have to do backup vocals at shows very often. I could just play my guitar. But yeah, I play lead guitar.
Awesome. Did you play the Kill Your Idol show that happened in like Philly a couple weeks, maybe like 2 weeks ago?
Definitely. 2 weeks ago. No, it wasn't
It
2
was
weeks.
recent.
A long time ago.
I thought it was like 2 weeks ago. I thought it was
The
this
one
month.
Dad went to?
Did Dad go? I
I don't know what you're talking
remember Gibson was there.
about. That wasn't Kill Your Idols.
Oh, I'm thinking of Youth of Today. I always, God damn it.
Well, that's
I always mix up.
that's quite a compliment. Thank you. Lump us in with them. But the last show we played was in Europe, which was in June. I think it was June 13th and no, it was June 14th and 15th that we played, I think, or it might have been 13th and 14th. But we flew to Europe to do 2 shows. We played the Ain't Like You festival in Torgau, Germany, and that was with Slapshot and a number of other bands, and it was like an all-day outdoor festival. And then we played in I don't remember the town, Hereford. That was the town, and I don't remember the name of the club, but we played there with Slapshot also, and it was a great time. We had a really great time. We reunited with a bunch of our friends over there that we hadn't seen in a while, and it was really, really great. And I would like to, I can't wait to go back and do some more dates over there.
Nice. June 14th and 15th this year.
Yes, right
Okay.
before my surgery.
Nice. What I was doing before this interview. So my band, we've played a good amount of shows so far, and I put like together a little trapper keeper of all our shows.
Yeah.
The first one. The reason I'm saying this is because played one on June 14th. If I can find it, no more. Past this. After this.
That's good
Right
that you.
June 14th.
Awesome.
This show.
That's
Inviting
good.
CA in the
That's good
basement.
that's good that you're doing that. Andy used to keep scrapbooks and like Trapper Keeper like folders of all the flyers for our shows. He actually gave me one. Actually, he gave me like 1 or 2 of them that he put together. But he's still got like many scrapbooks and stuff. And it's cool that he did that. I wish I did it too, because after 30 years of doing this band, and you're a young guy, and you got so much time ahead of you, and your band is great, by the way. I'm very impressed by your band. And I actually had some questions for you, but you should hold on to those memories in some sort of organized fashion, not like me, where I have a tote with all posters and flyers that are all folded up crappy. And Andy did it nice and organized, and I wish I had done that. But some of my stuff I have saved pretty well. Like I'm in my studio downstairs right now, and I have a lot of posters up. You can't see them all, but it's good to keep like a nice scrapbook, a Trapper Keeper, like you're doing. That's because 30 years from now you'll look through it, and you'll be pleased with what you've done. It's great. I mean, you're at the very beginning of your journey, and honestly, like, I'm so impressed. How old are you?
13.
13.
Yeah.
When I was 13, I don't think I could. I could barely play like Louie on the guitar. Like, I was playing guitar, but I wasn't as good as you play guitar and sing, right?
Yes.
You do both. You do both very, very well for a kid your age. It's very impressive. There's guys 23 and 33 that can't do what you do. Trust me. and it's very impressive. So I wanted to ask you, what are your influences like to sound the way you do? Because when I listen to your band, it reminds me of like well, I hear like Municipal Waste kind of
Yeah,
influence.
definitely. I mean,
Maybe
that's great that you think that.
um I hear like Exodus. I don't know if you like Exodus. They're an older band,
I've
but
heard a bit of them. I don't. I've heard I think I heard a couple songs off Bonded by Blood, but yeah. Also, DRI is a huge one. Which
I can
this is
hear
announced, right?
DRI.
It's announced. This is announced. We're opening for DRI.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
It's yeah. This is
Good.
like
That's a good show for you guys.
yeah.
Definitely.
That's a crazy show. Um, like I mean that's amazing. Like we're opening for DRI, which is one of our biggest inspirations. That's wild.
Yeah, I know how that feels. I've when we started Kill Your Idols, we you know, I had already been doing bands for a little bit, and I had some good experiences. I had a band called Big Sniff that was like a melodic hardcore band, you know, influenced by like Dag Nasty, 7 Seconds, Husker Du, those kinds of bands. And we had the opportunity to actually play with 7 Seconds twice when Big Sniff was around, and we got to play with some other cool bands like Yuppicide, which was a bigger band, you know, like back in the early New York scene, like '90s New York scene, and you know, and some other bands. So whenever we got to play with those bands, it was very thrilling. But when Andy and I started Kill Your Idols, and you know, for me, like Kill Your Idols is like my third or fourth band, and Andy had never done a band before, and I remember him saying like at that time we were listening to the H2O 7-inch a lot, and H2O had just released their first full length, and we were pretty into that record, and you know, we were listening to a lot, you know, a lot of stuff together. Andy and I became friends very quickly, and we just like shared like we loved Negative Approach, we loved um Agnostic Front, Sick of It All, like all those bands. 7 Seconds, like one of our favorite bands, and which we actually got to tour with them. We were signed to the same label they were on at the time. We did a split 7-inch with them. Poison Idea, we did a split 7-inch with. But I remember just sitting around listening to music with Andy, and Andy saying stuff like, imagine we get to open for H2O, or imagine we get to open for so and so, and we've gotten to do so much more than we dreamed of, and it's really a magical path we were on, you know, like H2O. Not only did we open for them, but they took us into their wings and actually like brought us on tour with them, and you know, were probably instrumental in us signing to Blackout Records when we first signed, and you know, like um, then I got to play guitar in Sheer Terror, which was one of my favorite bands growing up. And I got to go to Europe with Sheer Terror. And, you know, definitely my association with Sheer Terror helped Kill Your Idols in a way. And all of that stuff comes together so magically. And like all those little successes are so special. And you never forget that stuff. And I'm very excited for you because you're at the very beginning of your journey. And the most fun part of this thing that we do is the creating and the anticipation of what's next. That's the best part. So I'm excited for you because I know you have all of that in front of you. And you know, even me at 52, I get excited about the things I have coming up also. I never get tired of it. So, you know, but but yeah, that's I'm very, very good band. I can't tell you how I can't tell you enough how impressed I am by your band. It's
Thank you
great.
so much. Then we just put out this one side of the 12-inch. It's so it's our two EPs. So our first one was like 5 minutes, and our second one was like 11 minutes. So that's like 16 minutes of music.
Yeah,
Here's the back, just one sided, and they're all numbered.
cool.
Yep.
Who did the cover?
It was this guy in France, I think. Wasn't it like metalartwork.com or something?
Metal album design.com or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was on So we found that website, and the guy was really nice. We talked to him. So he had all these like album arts pre-made that you could pay for, and he'll send you it.
And
So
then it's yours, just yours.
yeah, it's yours forever. I don't think anyone else can use it, but
But he wanted like 450 euros or something.
I think it wasn't
270?
that much. It was like 290. I think.
That's not bad for artwork. It's really great artwork. It sort of it reminds me of the artist E. Repka that did like all the early metal, like thrash metal, death metal covers, like Death, Leper, like all the death covers, basically all the early like Leprosy, Scream Bloody Gore, Nuclear Assault covers. Like it reminds me of that kind of artwork. So it's good. It's good artwork.
It really fits,
Yeah.
like erased from existence.
Yeah,
right?
it's
Like,
Erased from Existence is the album title. It really fits, right?
Yeah. It definitely does. It's
And,
great artwork. It's it pops. It's colorful. It's got all the right thing. Even your logo is great. It's a great logo.
Thank you. It was the logo. Some guy in like Indonesia reached out to make it for
it
us.
was like $50.
It was only like $50 for that logo.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What would you consider yourself like genre wise? Not that it really matters, but what would you consider your band?
I'd say like probably crossover thrash, like thrashcore. One of those. Probably thrashcore.
Yeah, I would say the same.
Breakdown.
Cool.
Yeah. And then so apparently the some of those like artworks, it's not like drawn, so they like sculpt like figures with clay, and they like take a photo of it and like edit it and make it look really really cool. So apparently it's like a photo.
Oh, that's
That
interesting.
one might have been drawn though. Some of
You
them.
think?
Yeah, I didn't see any for that one.
Okay, never mind. But some of
Some of
them
them
are that the guy does are like sculpted, and like he makes the whole scene. It's really cool.
However they did it, it's a really good artwork that pops out. So
Yeah, I agree. I think it looks awesome. I'm so
And they
glad
sold
how
it to you
it came
for
out.
190.
Yeah, they sold it to us
'cause they were
for 190 euros because they wanted to help us out,
that's cool.
which was amazing. So the first time I saw Murphy's Law, I saw you play with them. It was the first time I saw them, and the first time Jimmy brought me up to sing.
Huh.
That was a really awesome show.
Which show was that? Where was that? Jimmy brings a kid up every
Yeah.
show, but I remember that, but I remember you, but I don't remember where it was.
It was the Kung Fu Necktie in Philly.
There you go. Yes, the Kung Fu
Yeah.
Necktie. The show was a little bit empty, but
Yeah.
it was a fun show anyway. Because you know, when you play this stuff, like I mean, and I know Jimmy and everyone else in Murphy's Law and myself have this ethic about playing a show. Doesn't matter if there's, you know, if there's 5 people there or 500 or 5,000, you give it the same amount of energy, you know, especially,
Yeah.
I mean, and that's easy for me to do because I love playing my guitar, and I especially love getting to play with, I'm very fortunate that I've gotten to play with a lot of the guys that I've grown up listening to, you know, and I've gotten to play with Cro-Mags members on stage and play Cro-Mags music. I've gotten to play in Sheer Terror for like from 1997 on and off until like 2022 or, you know, 23, something like that. Gotten to play on the Sheer Terror record. And I've gotten recently to play with Murphy's Law a bunch of times. And the only reason I couldn't keep playing with them, like I'm still considered like kind of in the band. Like I'm kind of one of the relief members. Like, but at this moment they went on tour for like 3 months, and I can't do that because I have a regular job and I got you know, small children in the house, and I can't really leave for that long. But that show was fun, and I give it my all when I play with them, and it's not a chore. It comes naturally, you know. But that was fun, and what I was getting to is like, even though that show wasn't that attended, Jimmy knows how to make it fun no matter what. You know, there could have been one person there. He would have roped that one person into it, and given him the time of his life. And he brought you up on stage and we had a good time. I don't did we like make up a song on the spot, or did you sing one of our songs?
I sung somebody's gonna get their head kicked tonight.
Oh, that's right.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
names. Yeah.
That's right.
You said you played sheer terror from like on and off night. Did you play the show? It was in Connecticut in like 2021 or 2022 with sheer terror. No, not 2021.
2023, I bet.
2022 or 2023.
Sheer Terror.
It was with sheer terror and Slapshot.
It was at Cherry Street Station.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, I played that show.
My dad's band opened. I was there.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that was fun. That's a good place to play. I have all good memories of playing shows with Sheer Terror. It's always, Sheer Terror is one of my favorite bands, and the original guitarist, Alan Blake, is one of my dearest influences on guitar, like for like sound and the way he plays and everything. And even the succeeding guitar player, who was the original bass, one of the original bass players, Mark Newman, switched over to guitar when Alan left, and I started hanging out with Sheer Terror at that time, because we shared a band member, and my band Big Sniff and the bass player Mike also played in Sheer Terror, so I started hanging out with them, and I got to go to their practices and just watch Mark play guitar, and he was such a good guitar player, and I was okay, but I wasn't what I am, now. But I learned so much just watching him, just watching how he played, and it shaped how I would play going forward,
Yep.
So when it came time to join the band, they were going to get somebody else to when they put the Sheer Terror had broken up, and then when they were putting the band back together, Mike was like, "Oh, we're going to get so and so and so and so to play guitar and drums," and I was like, "Oh, really?" I was like, I live right down the block from you, and I know how to play all those songs. You do know that, right? And he was like, "Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of that." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever. Do what you got to do," And then, like the next day, he was like, "Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. You should play guitar. You know how to play all that stuff." So that's how I got in.
That's awesome. Yeah, Paul is so funny on stage. You play with the two funniest frontmen, Jimmy and Paul.
Yep, they're like the most memorable New York hardcore frontmen, I think.
Yeah, they're like comedians.
Oh, I don't know what I did.
1, 2, 3, 1.
What happened?
I don't know.
I accidentally closed all.
Go right there. Okay.
Okay, we're good.
What were we saying? Two funnies. Two funnies. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're like comedians.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. Anyways, I played a song on guitar with Murphy's Law a couple weeks ago, and I was
I saw that video. Yeah.
Yeah, I was the only one on guitar, which was pretty crazy. I thought I did pretty good. It didn't sound bad, so
No, it sounded good. You did pretty good.
thank you.
I love all those guys, that whole lineup. First of all, Brendan, the bass player, and I both played in Sheer Terror. So that was my connection to Murphy's Law. When they needed a guitar player for some shows, which that run of shows where you jumped up and sang at Kung Fu Necktie, that was my first run of shows with them. But Brendan asked me to play, and I learned 22 songs and just jumped up. And but the other guitar player, Larry, is a really good guy. Walter's a great drummer and a great guy. I miss those guys, actually. Like I wish I could have gone out and did some of this touring with them, but like I said, my lifestyle doesn't permit me to go out that long. So, but I know it's not the last time I'll play with them. There's always an opportunity to play, and they're doing the boat show on August. I think it's
12th.
August 12th. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go and hang out. I don't
21 and up.
It's 21 and up. I wanted to go, but it's 20 and up. 21.
Yeah,
And up.
it's because they serve alcohol on the boat. It's
Yeah.
a lot of liability. I get it, but it stinks though. The younger kids can't go. Although I somehow managed to get my son on the boat when I played the last Murphy's Law boat show. I was kind of just like, yo, I'm his dad. I'm gonna watch him. I'm driving. I'm not drinking. Then they let him on. So, but they're not supposed to let minors on the boat.
You guys tried to play the show.
Yeah, Jimmy wanted us to play it, but too young. But yeah, also we got this hat at the show that I played guitar with Murphy's Law. It's the Crucial Barbecue hat, but we made it flip up and put Crucial in Suicidal Tendencies font on it.
You did that yourself, the bottom?
My mom did, but
Oh, that's cool. I was looking at the hat. I was like, I didn't, I was trying to see like what it said because I can't really read. And now I can see it says Murphy's Law. That's a cool hat.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be funny. And
Yeah.
it is.
well, it's because we make our own like World of Chaos flip up hats. Oh, kitty, that say chaos on them.
Yeah.
So we were able to make them because we have a little hat press.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, I gotta say, like when I was a kid and I started, hey kitty, when I was a kid and I started doing this stuff, my parents were not that really supportive of me doing this. Like they were kind of just like, you should be doing this, or you should be doing that. You should be, I don't know, like whatever like is expected of a teenager, because I was like 15 when I started, and they thought it was a phase. And then, by the time I hit 17 or 18 and I was still doing it and playing shows and stuff and getting like, they were just like, well, where are you going to go with this kind of music? And I'm like, I don't know. What about all the bands I listen to have gone somewhere? But they're not rich. They're not famous. And I'm just like, I don't really care about that. I just want to do it, like I don't care if I'm rich or famous. Like that would be great, but that's not why I do it. That's not why I do anything that I do is to be rich or famous, So like my parents didn't get me, and I mean, that's the overtone of a lot of this music too, is your parents not getting you. And you're a very fortunate kid because your parents get you. Probably most definitely because they were just like me and just like you. So, and I'm the same with my son Donovan. My son Donovan plays guitar. He's coming up. He's coming along. He's trying to put bands together, and we jam once in a while together. And I support anything he wants to do. His interest is like he plays guitar and he loves music, but he also likes acting and he likes like stage shows. Like he was in a play Beetlejuice, and he was Beetlejuice in the play. And he seems to like that, like the acting, singing, dancing. So I support him 100%, and I don't care if he gets rich or famous. I just want him to do what's going to make him happy. Like obviously you got to work, you got to study, you got to be responsible. You have to be, you have to find your place in society. But your place in society isn't just being a worker bee and making some rich guy money by your hard efforts. Your place in society is what you bring to the world to try and make other people happy and make yourself happy. So I want him to pursue whatever it is he wants to do. So, and I think your parents do that for you. Obviously, you have a very professional podcast. You're in a band that's very impressive and very amazing. So that's good. I like all that,
How old is he?
He's 12.
Okay.
He's
I do some theater. Like I've done a little bit. I've done like little like theater camps at like the local high school, but
You'd never be Beetlejuice though. You'd be like a bug
Yeah.
or something.
yeah. Well, I won't the plays I don't like dance. I don't like dancing and singing. I just like having like the talking. I don't want to do like
You can't sing.
I can't sing for the life of me. Maybe if it was like it would have to be hardcore because I can only do hardcore vocals.
I certainly understand that. I used to be in the chorus when I was a kid, and I was a soprano, and then my voice started to change, and then I never was able to sing in the other registers quite as well as I was doing as a soprano. And to be honest, I probably wasn't even that good as a soprano, but I was better because my voice was higher. And then, I started getting discouraged and I left it. But then I found guitar, and, I was also drawing a lot. Like, that was my thing. So I just stuck with that. My son was in theater camp this summer, and he broke his knee, or fractured his knee. And we had to take him out, and he's been healing up. So that's
Took
sort
him
of
out.
we had to. He
Took
couldn't.
him out. Get it? It sounds like
Oh no,
him
yeah,
out.
we took him
Oh.
out of camp. Yeah,
How do you
he.
injure your knee at theater camp?
I mean,
How do you injure your knee at theater camp?
there's
He,
definitely.
he didn't. You would think that that's where he would have done it, dancing around, but no, he did it at the beach.
Oh.
He had his ankles all the way down in the sand, from the like when the tide goes in and out, and you get your feet buried in the sand, and then a real big wave took him out, and it knocked him over while his feet were still in the sand, like cemented in there, and his kneecap popped out and then popped back in. But when it popped out, it left like a little piece of the bone behind. So it's kind of ruined his summer for the last couple of weeks. We had to take him out of theater camp, and he wasn't able to be in a play that he was supposed to be in. It was like a Dr. Seuss play. He was supposed to be the Cat in the Hat, and he couldn't do it. So, but the first play that he was in, where my wife and I would, and the rest of our family that came to the play was so impressed. Like, he was in a Moana play, and he was the crab in Moana. The shiny, that crab.
Oh yeah, that guy.
And
I haven't seen that movie in a while.
when he came out, when he came out as the crab and started singing the song, we were like looking at each other like, where the hell did this come from? Like, we didn't know he could do this, because he didn't rehearse in front of us. He would always do it very privately. So we were kind of just like, school play, it's fun, we didn't know he had like a penchant for it. And he really does. And he was, as Beetlejuice, he was great. So, whatever. I'm 100%. My wife and I are 100% behind him. Anything he wants to do. So
That's awesome. Oh yeah. So what's a band Kill Your Idols has played with that you're proud to say you've played with?
Man, it's a really extensive list. H2O, Sick of It All, which I'll tell you a really good story about Sick of It All. They, we became friends with them, and we played with them, and they like always had great things to say about us, and we were like, wow, it's Sick of It All, that's great. And then we were in Europe on tour, and we played this club called the Lint Fabrique in Belgium, which is one of our favorite places to play over there. It's no longer there. They have another club now called Hetbos, it's called. And we've played there too in recent years. Great collective of people, and very supportive of Kill Your Idols. But when we played Lint Fabrique, Sick of It All was on tour, and they had a day off. And they asked, they were like, hey, can we play that Kill Your Idols show? And, of course we were like, yeah, let them play the show. That would be great. So they came, and we thought they were going to headline. We thought they'd go on as a headliner. Like, why wouldn't they? They're Sick of It All. They refused to headline. They were like, this is your show. And we had to headline over them. And I was like, man, we got to follow Sick of It All. How the fuck are we going to do that? Sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but but we held our own, and we did it. We followed Sick of It All successfully, and it was a really fun show. And I just think they're one of the coolest bands. They're great guys. And we got to tour with Agnostic Front, which was one of the most fun tours we ever did. And any of the other times we played with Agnostic Front, they were great. Vinny and Roger, great guys. All those guys are so great to us. 7 Seconds we toured with. We had like an amazing time with them. As I said before, we did a split 7-inch with them. It's one of the most cherished things I've ever done with a band. And Poison Idea, we got to play with a number of times in Europe and in the States. We did a split 7-inch with them. We got to play with TSOL. We got to, I should mention, like the bands that we toured with that we had the most fun with, Violent Society and Ensign in the early days. Our friends in Fortitude down in Florida that were always, with us, from the very beginning. Man, we got to play with so many good bands. I mean, Slapshot more than like a couple of times. Yeah, we've had a pretty interesting journey, DRI we've played with. Yeah, a lot of bands. If you name a band, I'll probably be like, we played with them. We did a lot of touring in the very beginning.
What are some bands that are like
Obituary.
probably not Obituary?
We never got to play with Obituary. I love Obituary, so I would have definitely remembered that if we did. But I will say this though, we played with. There's two bands. There's Exhumer, which is the original band and then there was the Exhumed. I think that's the newer band. But we were supposed to play. We were supposed to play in Southern California on one of the tours, and that was on a Saturday. And we had a friend that's a promoter, our friend Tyler, that we were like, we need a show in Arizona the day before we get to Southern California. And he's like, why don't you? And this Southern California show was just us. And it was like, it was at a place called the PCH, which, was like our home away from home for a little while. But this was our first show we were supposed to play there. And, we were just playing a show. It wasn't like we were opening for anybody like, huge or anything. It was just like a local, show, our first time in Southern California. So our friend Tyler was like, well, why don't you cancel that show and just play in Arizona, and you could play with the Business, which would have been a big show for us. So we were like, no, we're not doing that. We got in touch with this guy, and he's really excited to have us. We're not going to cancel. So Tyler was like, all right, don't play with the Business. What do I know about your career? He was like that about it. So, but he was like, he goes, the only thing I have before that is a metal show. And it was the Exhumed and some other like thrash metal, like death metal kind of bands. And Kill Your Idols was, maybe not the best fit. But I will say this. Those people loved us, and they all bought stuff. They all bought records. They bought shirts, and they were circle pitting for us when we were playing. And the bands especially loved us. They were like, you guys are awesome, and these are like really like good, like thrash metal bands. So we were psyched. I love that. I was a thrash metal guy before I was a punk rocker, so I was psyched. But then we went to PCH the next day, and it was our first show there. And it wasn't a very well-attended show, but the people that were there were like, wow, this band is awesome. And then we went and toured up the coast of California, and word got around that we played, and the promoter of the PCH was like, yo, you guys got to come back here on your next day off. So we had a day off after San Francisco, I think. And I think we just shot back down to Southern California to play the PCH. And the second show there was packed, like hundreds of people, like the word of mouth. It was like one of the coolest things that's ever happened to us. It was really cool. So I guess we could have played with the Business, but who knows if it would have been that cool, So
That's great. So what was the first punk or hardcore show you went to, and how old were you?
The first shows I went to were thrash metal shows, and some of those shows had hardcore bands sprinkled into them. So like I do remember I went to go see Nuclear Assault, and they played with Leeway and Sick of It All. So that's probably like my first you know, my first me attending punk rock shows or hardcore shows like that. But the first full on hardcore show that I went to was Youth of Today, Bold, and Gorilla Biscuits, which was in at this place called the Sundance in Bayshore, Long Island. And I actually went. By myself to that show for some reason. I don't remember why, but I ended up going, and that was my first real hardcore show. And then soon after that, I saw Sheer Terror play locally at Reds on Long Island, and then they played at Sundance. And then from there on in, I just started going, like sneaking out and going to the city with my friends, and we went to CBGB. My first CBGB show was Token Entry, No for an Answer, Rest in Pieces, and Wrecking Crew. And the reason I remember that clearly is because they recorded that show and released it on vinyl, like as a compilation. So, but I was, every time I look at the back cover of that record, there's a line all the way around the block for CBGB, and I always try to see if I could find myself and my friends in the picture. But no, we must have been at the way back of the line. So, but yeah, and yeah, those are my earliest shows. Yeah,
It's awesome. Think of It All was my first hardcore show.
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, not my first show, but my first hardcore show.
What was your first show?
Bad Religion. Well, is that still a show? It might be a concert because it was like it was 2019. It was a pretty big place,
Big.
but
I got you.
still call it a show, I guess.
My first concert was Jethro Tull.
Mine
So
was like
Yeah, in Carbondale, Illinois. Wait, who was it? Was it with Wasn't it with Misfits and
I don't
not
think so.
Misfits? Danzig.
I don't think so.
I thought it was Danzig and
I
Suicide.
think it was just Metallica, like 4 hours or something.
Really? Yeah.
Black Album,
That's crazy.
7th grade.
Wow.
What?
So, what was the first punk or hard? No, I already asked that. God damn it. Okay. What is your favorite place in the world you've ever toured?
definitely Europe. I mean, Europe's always amazing. I mean, anywhere you go on tour, there's some clunkers. There's some nights where you don't do so well. But I mean, like I said, in Europe, there was the Lint Fabrique in Belgium, and I remember like one time we went to play a show in Belgium, and at the time, this band Hot Water Music was really big in the States, and we played with them over there, and somehow we were headlining over them, and we were like, what? Why aren't they headlining? They're like huge back where we're from. And they were like, you guys are big here. So like it's like weird things like that. You run into weird things like that when you go to other places like Europe, like you find out that your band is bigger than you thought it was. And it's it's always cool when that happens. Um
No. He said we played with this band called Hot Water Music.
Oh.
who
No,
would who
No,
we were good friends with them, and they
They're
were
like-
big supporters of ours. So it was like, they were just like, hey, whatever, we're opening for you guys. They didn't care.
They're my favorite band and probably like together our family's favorite band.
What, Hot Water Music?
Yeah.
Right, they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a
And
Hot Water
yeah, we
Music.
had a very good relationship with those guys. As a matter of fact, when we played Gainesville Fest in Florida, which was another favorite stop of ours when we were touring, Chuck from Hot Water Music broke his collarbone or like dislocated his shoulder or something in the pit while we were playing. He was going crazy. He was like knocking people over. He was like falling into merch tables. It was nuts.
That's
Like,
crazy.
we're like, what are you doing, bro? You got to play. But don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, he's awesome. I've been to well now it's just called Fest, but when I've been to Gainesville Fest a couple times. It was 3 times. One of them, when I was in my dad's band Thought Control, we played there, which was cool. I think you
How
mentioned
old were you?
12, yeah.
You played when it was the fest.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
about to be. I was like, when it was still Gainesville Fest. How old were you?
-4.
Yeah. I would have been like, wait, when did it become Fest? I mean,
I don't know.
maybe
It's been years.
maybe like I could have been like an infant. when
No,
was still
it was a
Gainesville
long
Fest.
time ago when it was Gainesville Fest.
You think?
It's been Fest for a while. We played Fest like 4 or 5 years ago, I think. That was the last time we played.
Okay. But yeah, I you mentioned Fortitude earlier. It was the same show that they were on at Fest. It was cool.
Yeah, we're close friends with them from a from the beginning. Our first East Coast tour, on our first 12-inch, we met them, and we always played with them down there, and whenever they came up this way, they played with us. We always looked out for each other.
That's
You know?
awesome.
Did they
Yeah.
play right after you?
Maybe.
Or two bands
I
after
think
you?
I think it was us, two bands, then Fortitude.
Same stage.
Same stage, yeah.
Oh, give me 1 second. Sorry, I got a phone call while I was trying to talk to you right there. Sorry, I get a lot of spam phone calls lately. They're annoying.
Yeah, same. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. My first tattoo is probably gonna be the Hot Word Music logo. We might get it as a family all like matching, which would be cool.
That's cool. That's a good one.
Yep. Either and then yeah, like my first tattoo, it's between that and the DRI logo. I mean, they're both really awesome.
Well, the DRI logo is probably one of the best logos, next to the Misfits logo.
I
Yeah.
get it, but I don't know if Dad would get it.
Yeah, Dad's not too into DRI, but he's just not really into thrash, right?
Not so much.
Well, he likes Dead Heat, but they're like hardcore-ish. Um. So where are we? What's the strangest? Is that
You already did.
what's your favorite place? Yeah, we already asked that. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
What's the strangest thing you've eaten in another country?
What's the strangest thing I've eaten in another country? Probably when I went to Korea. We were in the hotel, and it was like we were like strangers in a strange land in Korea. Like we were like Americans in Korea. And we were in the hotel room, and I was like, well, I'm hungry, so I'm gonna go get some food. And everybody's like, well, what are you gonna eat? Because it's so different there. So I just went out by myself, and went and there was like a tent on the street, like a really long tent, and inside the tent were these street food vendors like cooking, like right there, like. And I don't know what I ate. I have no idea what I ate because I didn't speak the language. I don't even know if they gave me like the right change for my money or whatever. But whatever I ate was good. But it was like definitely some sort of fish, or there was some rice involved, and but I don't know really what it was. So, but I ate it, and it was, it was lunch. So, but I don't know what it was. That's why it was strange to me. And I guess another thing that stands out is I I made a sandwich one time, like I was out with Sheer Terror, and like the catering, the catering was all mostly gone. So there was like a piece of bread. There was like a loaf of hero bread, and there was a jar of herring, pickled herring. There was a jar of it.
What?
Herring. It's fish.
Oh,
Like pickled fish.
Yeah, it's like pickled. It has like a sweet flavor to it. But that was all it was, and I was really hungry. So I just opened the jar, and like I thought the herring was gonna like come out in like small pieces, but it came out in like this one big piece of fish. Like it was like the fish was like, eviscerated down the middle, and it was just this one long piece. So like I just took it and put it on the bread because it fit on the bread, and I put a little mayonnaise on it, and I just put the bread together, and I just went to go eat it, and Paul Bearer screamed at me and said I was a fat, disgusting slob. But he's like, you don't eat it like that. He's like, what the hell's the matter with you? So that was a weird thing to do. But I was hungry, so
yeah. I mean, it doesn't sound too bad. Like I feel like if you can kind of put almost anything on like bread with mayonnaise, then you won't really It'll be okay.
It was a little bit, overwhelming, the pickled herring, but I was hungry, so.
Yeah, it's
And
food.
I'm up until my surgery, I've had a habit of overeating and eating, probably much more than I should be eating. So I don't do that anymore. I can't even. If you put a slice of pizza in front of me, I wouldn't even know what to do with it right now. Like I would probably just like eat the cheese off of it because I can't eat a lot. My stomach was this big, and like now it's like this big.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. I have to drink all day, like sips of water, sips of like this isn't Gatorade. This is vitamin powder mixed with water. I have to drink this every day because I got to get my vitamins. You know, because I'm not getting all my vitamins with food right now. I'm at the very beginning of this, so I'm like eating like it's like protein drinks and like pureed food and soft food, and I really can't eat that much. Like I'm never hungry, which is good because I was always hungry all the time, and that's how I got fat. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to not being fat anymore. I've gotten fit maybe once or twice in my life. I've always been a chubby guy, but chubby or fat, but I've gotten fit a couple times, and I always remember how great that was. So now I'm gonna get there again. So all good.
Well, good luck. If you could tell your 13-year-old self anything at all, what would you tell him?
Practice more on guitar. I didn't practice enough, and that's why it took me. That's why I wasn't doing what you're doing at 13. I would say practice more. I didn't take it that seriously at first. I didn't have enough confidence in myself. I had a guitar. I played. I enjoyed playing, but I wasn't really that good, and I didn't think I could be that good. Like I would listen to like Van Halen and Black Sabbath and like um, whatever bands I was listening to that have great guitar players, and I would say, well, I'll never be that good, you know, and like how do you like to start a band? Like I'll never be that good. And then what got me into playing in a band was I got into Misfits because I was really into Metallica, and Metallica was wearing Misfits shirts all the time, and they were wearing punk rock T-shirts like Discharge, and one of the guys in Slayer had a Life Sentence T-shirt, and and DRI T-shirts and stuff like that, and Sam Hain T-shirts, and I was like, what are these bands that these guys listen to? I want to, So I started, like trying to get into those bands. That was my entryway into hardcore and punk rock was Metallica and Slayer wearing punk rock T-shirts. So I heard Misfits, and I didn't get it at first. I was kind of like, why do they like this so much? Like, this isn't heavy. But then I got really, I started to really like Misfits a lot. And then one day I was listening to them, and I was like, these songs are so good. And these guys are not good musicians. They're not technically good musicians. They're kind of bad, actually. But the music is so good. So that was when I had a friend up the block that had a drum set that was in like the marching band. He played in like the school band. I was like, hey, we should start a band. And like, we were horrible, but I was like, we won't be that horrible for long. We'll get as good as Misfits eventually. And then that was my goal to shoot for, to play at least as good as Misfits plays. But then that's what got me on my path. I got better and better. I started being able to play Metallica riffs and play Slayer riffs and all that kind of stuff. So I learned on my own. I don't know if you took lessons or not, but I learned totally on my own.
I learned a little, like I did a little bit of lessons from this uh guy that was my mom's friend's son. Did it like, yeah, he just taught me some basic stuff. Then from there I learned on my own. And then yeah, I'm also so World of Chaos, we have on August 16th, we're playing two like local shows in one day. The first one is like at the like town festival in our town called the Peach Festival.
Yeah.
We have an hour time slot. We have 16 minutes of original music. So we're playing like 40 minutes of covers, and one of them is Domination by Pantera. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that song, but
Yeah,
there
if you could play that, that's pretty good.
I'm learning. I've learned to solo roughly. I have to get a little better at it, but it is ridiculous.
Yeah. But when you accomplish it, it feels good though, doesn't it? I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm able.
there's still stuff I can't play, and I know my limitations. I'm 52 years old. I try to get better. I'm about as good as I'm gonna get, and now I'm starting to get arthritis, and my thumb don't work the same way it used to. So like sometimes I have trouble anchoring my hand on the fretboard. So I
Yeah.
really I have to practice a lot before I get involved playing shows. So like, you know, that's something to look forward to, getting older and struggling with old people problems. But as long as you keep playing, you find your ways around that. Like you'll it'll grow with you. But like, yeah, while you're still young, the sky is the limit. You can learn. You could be you could be the next guitar hero. There's no limitations to what you can do at your age.
Also, the good thing, like, it's a lot easier now than it was 30 years ago to learn songs. Like, I mean, um, there's like a website that has a ton of tabs, and that's what I learned Domination on.
Yeah.
And it like you can slow it down all the way down to like 0.1% speed, and you can just slowly speed it up. So that's what I did. I played it at like 1.0 speed, and then every time I would get a successful take, I would speed it up by 0.1 until I got to full speed.
Well, that's the way to do it. That's how my son learns music. He learns it all mostly on the internet. He's got some old music books that have tablature in them, and he actually knows how to read notes too. So he could do that too. But that was the only when I was a kid, the only way to learn music would be to go to the music store and buy the sheet music or the tablature, or sometimes in guitar magazines they would have an issue where they would have learn Stairway to Heaven or learn, Iron Man or whatever, and you would get the magazines for the tablature. But I had no patience for that. As a matter of fact, I took guitar class in school, and I was failing it because I had no patience for reading notes, and I also had no patience for like playing like Mary Had a Little Lamb. I was already playing Black Sabbath songs. So like finally the only way I was able to pass was the teacher saw that I could play. I just wasn't learning the notes, and like he would test me. He would go like, all right, play what everybody else is playing in the room, and I would pretend to be looking at the notes and playing what everybody else was playing, but really I learned it from listening to everybody. I didn't learn the notes. I don't know sheet music. I'm completely illiterate with sheet music. And finally he said to me, I can't fail you because you know what you're doing. But he goes, I want to fail you because you're not reading notes. And then finally, this guy had a good heart, even though I was a pain in the butt student. He was like, I'm going to pass you. I want you to learn something that you want to learn how to play. And you play me a recording of it, and I want you to learn it from front to back, and I'll pass you. So I learned One by Metallica. All the parts, the guitar solos, as best as I could play them at the time, which wasn't that good, but it was good enough for him to be like, all right. And he gave me a passing grade.
Nice. Sorry, my cats are actually like being ridiculous. Like they're kind of like fighting, and it's a bit chaotic. But sorry,
I don't have cats, but my next door neighbor who I hang out with does, and every time I go over there, the cats are nuts. They're just nuts. I don't know if they do it when I come over or if they're always doing that, but they're completely crazy.
yeah. I mean, so we've had one of them, the older one, for about a year. I think she's like 2, and then we got the new kitten that you saw uh for like 2 weeks probably, and they're just absolutely chaotic. I think the kitten is the antagonizer because he'll like run up to the big cat and just like I don't know, like just start like being dumb, trying to annoy her. Like I don't know, they're ridiculous.
That's funny. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have one brother, and he's kind of annoying.
How
Nah.
old?
He's 11. There's a 2-year age gap between us.
Oh, that's good. You guys are close in age. Does he play music too?
He plays drums.
Oh, good.
Sometimes we'll jam into the basement. He's not into hardcore though. He's into like I don't know, like
Avenged Sevenfold.
yeah, into like I guess like new metal and maybe metalcore. You could say he likes Avenged Sevenfold and System of a Down. I'm not really into that kind of stuff. I like some Avenged Sevenfold's older stuff, but they kind of turned into like dad rock in my opinion. But
You
no
know what?
offense.
You know what? You guys are gonna get older, and when you're in your like late teens, early 20s, maybe you'll realize it's. I mean, this is a cliche thing to say, but it's all rock and roll. So maybe you guys will get together and you'll come up with something completely original based on your influences and his influences. You know.
Maybe.
But yeah, my son's having that problem when he gets together with some of his friends. Like, he's into certain things, they're into different things, but you know, they get together sometimes down here, sometimes at his other friends' houses. You know, but I
Yes.
told him, you know, like, I mean, it's different for everybody. Your circle of friends and whatnot. It took me a while to find the right people to play with when I was a kid. You know, I don't think I really settled in playing with anybody till I was like 16, and even at 16, I wasn't doing what you're doing yet. You know, so it takes, you know, obviously, you know, things are different now. The internet makes things a little easier. I wish we had the internet when we were younger. You know, but yeah, you know, well, you like I said, you're at the beginning of your journey. You have a very good beginning. So I'm excited to see what you're gonna do in 5 years. You know.
Yeah, thank you. I mean that's kind of how World of Chaos is like how you're saying different influences like um I mean me and the drummer are pretty much the main writers. So originally there was another kid that played guitar. I was originally on bass and vocals because the other kid was better at guitar than me. So he's not in the band anymore though. So he was really into thrash. Um I was really into hardcore. I still like thrash. And then our drummer's into like Slipknot and
Yeah.
he kind of likes Rush too. I really like Rush. But that's kind of where all our influence kind of came together. And then the kid on guitar left, but we wanted to keep the thrash sound because that kind of came from him. So
Yeah.
yeah, we decided to
Rush is a good influence for anybody.
yeah, especially drummers.
Yeah, especially drummers.
Yeah, he has some cool fills in there. Yeah. Did I ask anything to add before we wrap it up? Okay. Anything to add before we wrap it up?
Um, it's good that we're wrapping it up because I hear some chaos. Speaking of chaos, there's a world of chaos going on upstairs above my head right now. My kids are crying and screaming, so I got to go see what that's all about.
Like,
But in closing, I'll just say, you know, like what you're doing is amazing, and I'm excited that a kid like you still enjoys uh, older bands like ours, and like even some of the other bands you mentioned, which are even older than Kill Your Idols. Like I think that's exciting to know that younger kids are still feeling the spirit of the, you know, the original punk rock, the original thrash, all of that stuff. Because man, I got really into music, I would say around 9, 10, 11. The first rock and roll record I owned, probably earlier than 9 or 10, was the 45 single of Band on the Run by Paul McCartney and Wings. And you know, like that's what got me into rock and roll. And I was always, you know, I got a stereo when I was young, and I got records when I was young, and then I got really into hip hop right at the beginning of hip hop. Like, and then at some point I started getting into like Iron Maiden, Ozzy Osbourne, like all that kind of stuff. Ozzy Osbourne, rest in peace, God rest his soul, and all of that kind of stuff. And then when I heard Metallica for the first time, and when I heard Slayer for the first time, and Anthrax, and then Nuclear Assault, and like the floodgates of the whole world opened up for me, you know? And then that event, it was just like such a magical time I'll never forget. And buying those records, getting on the train, going to record stores in the city, getting on the bus, going to record stores, you know, far away from my hometown on Long Island, and, you know, just like doing anything I could to get these records. Like that was like a magical, magical time for me. And then that was my gateway to punk rock and hardcore. And then the rest is history. So it's cool to talk about things like that, talk about band stuff, talk about playing shows, you know. I mostly have those conversations with, like, you know, 50-year-old, 40-year-old guys, maybe 30-year-old. It's cool to have that conversation with a 13-year-old that's accomplished. So, you know, good luck to you. And I know we're going to cross paths. And, you know, keep up the good work. Keep doing it. And
Thank you.
and I know we had loose plans to play in October together. And unfortunately, I cannot do that because I have another surgery that I have to go through. You know, so it won't take me long to recover from that. So once I get my stuff together, we will revisit that, and definitely that'll be a fun thing to put together.
That'd be awesome.
I'll be in touch with, you know, your parents and everything on that, and we'll make it happen.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks to Gary for joining me today, and thanks to all you for watching and listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Spotify and other streaming platforms. Until next week, bye.
Take care. Thank you.